Good morning, it's December 7th, 2020, day 7 of Vlogmas. It's Monday. This morning I spent some time just sitting on the couch and icing my ankle because I've noticed that, well, because I've hurt it and I need it to get better, but I also noticed that it tends to hurt first thing in the morning the most. And if I've been on it for the entire day, so first thing in the morning and then late at night. But in the morning, because I'm an active sleeper and sort of tossing and turning a lot, so that tends to twist it a little bit overnight, not in a severe way, but anyway, it just aches a little bit in the morning. So I iced it a little bit and I spent some time just relaxing and knitting on some gift knits. I did that most of the day yesterday and I got a lot done. So these are a pair of socks. This is a sock that is for my Uncle Al for Christmas. Al is my mom's cousin and he is a really beloved member of our family. Always super joyful and funny and goofy and generous and loving and just everything you would want a member of your family to be. And he just recently had a brain surgery for a tumor, and it's an aggressive cancer. He's clear now. He's doesn't have any. His brain scans are cancer-free, but it's the same type of cancer that John McCain had, the name of which I don't remember. So it's been a troubling time. Anyway, so I really want to get these socks out to California sooner than later, so I'm happy that I spent some time on them. Today I'm wearing my Nurtured sweater, which was also a finish from earlier this year. And I love it so much. This is Woolfolk Tove, the yarn. I don't remember the color, but it's like a number, not a name. But it's a really pretty olive green color, which I realized last year looks really good on me. There was sort of an evolution in my personal style journey that I went on last year, where I used to knit things that looked really cute on the photo, but then I did a deep dive on what my body type is and my skin tone and all that kind of stuff, and just what I feel good in. And so there was a stark change in what the things that I am knitting are now. And they actually tend to be a lot more solid color, sort of plain stuff, but I love wearing them. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I'm really happy with how that whole personal style discovery turned out. I did set up a Patreon, so you can support the Vlogmas videos if you'd like. I'll link that down below as well. Sophie and I both had issues today and yesterday where we had technical difficulties, so it's incredibly frustrating when you put a ton of work into something, and we do it because we love it, but it's also takes a lot of time. And so if you would like to support us, we would really appreciate it. In that vein also, I'd love to remind you that I have an Etsy shop. It's called Slow Fashion Rebel. I sell masks right now. I'd like to expand it to sell more stuff, but that probably won't happen until the new year. But anyway, masks are a really great thing to give for Christmas, I think. I'm giving a bunch of them to my family, and everybody I've made masks for and who's purchased masks from me says they're the best masks. Which, is not to just brag, but I have to say, I work in a retail environment, and so I see a lot of masks from people who come into the store, and the ones that are curved, have a curved seam here, a lot of people are adjusting them all the time, And the ones I make are like this. They're pleated, and so you wear the pleats facing down, and so you can fit your nose in this first pleat, and then it expands. I just don't want to put this one on because to get it dirty, but then it also has these little thingies on so you can adjust the elastic, and the elastic is really soft too, so it like really stays on well, and you don't have to adjust it, and it's like a lot of covers a lot of surface area. So Catherine and I, my boss, worked a lot on this design during the beginning of the pandemic. There were many iterations, and I really think that I'm really proud of how it came out, the final product. It's a really good well-fitting mask, and I know because I wear them like for 8 hours in a day. So there you go, that's my mask plug. So today I am going to do some meal planning. Tim and I have a like meal planning date later. I'm gonna do some budgeting so that I can purchase some Christmas gifts, and I will also be filming some cutting of my tree skirt finally. You guys, sadly there's something going on with my DSLR. I don't know what it is. It keeps saying the memory card is full, and it's not. So I am forced to film with my iPhone. So I'm going to be filming on this for the rest of the day. Apologies, the picture quality isn't as good, but it's better than nothing. So I'm actually gonna get started on cutting right now. I'm gonna start with ironing fabric and squaring off the bottom of the main background fabric because it needs to be perfectly right angle square. Right? It needs to be at a perfect right angle. So I'm gonna do that with an L square. I'm gonna draw a line where it's on the bottom. I'll show you. And then I'm gonna use a rotary cutter and follow the line just so that my cuts are better, because it seems too complicated to me to try to cut an entire strip of a 44-inch wide fabric just with a rotary cutter and a ruler. I feel like there's too much opportunity for mistakes there. Also, that's just in garment construction what you do, so I'm used to it. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'll show you it. So these are my rulers. I have ironed the fabric and laid it out on my cutting table. As you can see, so this is a Hemosote board that I just put on my table, or Homosote, I never remember. And I have marked a right angle here, and these are for bias, so that makes squaring a fabric off really easy. But just for safe measure, I also use these rulers. So this is called an L square right there. This is just a super long ruler, but it's 2 inches wide, so it's really great for marking and cutting bias. This is also an L square, just a smaller one. Rulers and scissors are my favorite tools, period. All right, so what I've done here is lined, this is the selvage edge of the fabric. The woven edge is called the selvage, and then the cut edge is just your cross grain cut. So I just line this up with the line over here, and you always want to follow the selvage. The selvage is always going to be straight. That's how you know your fabric is on grain. And so here this is the 0 line. So I just extended the fabric a little bit past that 0 line because it wasn't perfectly straight. The cut wasn't perfectly straight, and I'm gonna use the L square along this line to get a marking here that is straight. Because something I didn't explain is that the fabric calls for strips of, it asks you to cut strips first, and then from those strips it's asking you for your little pieces. And there are so many little pieces that I'm just gonna follow the directions. I don't always. Sometimes I go rogue and decide my intuition in cutting as a former professional is better, but in this case, totally just gonna do what they tell me to do. So the pattern is calling, out of this cream print, it's calling for 3 strips, 8 and 3/4 inch wide, 2 strips 6 1/8 inch wide, 2 strips 4 5/8 inch wide, 5 strips 3 1/8 inch wide. Unfortunately, I do not have enough fabric to get all of that because this was this was a remnant and my boss wanted half of it. So I'm giving half of it to her, and I'm just gonna order more of the same exact thing from Fat Quarter Shop. So what I've done is actually, so I used the L square to just make the angles, and I only went, like here, you can see I only went a little ways. Here is about halfway, because the L square is really good at getting angles, but it's not good at marking long lines, because that is actually, I mean, it's 24 inches, which is, it's just not, you know, this bad boy is 36 inches. So I just marked the angles of the strips that I need with that, and then I'm gonna use this to extend the lines all the way across. Hello again. It's through 2:45. I'm gonna continue to cut until about 4, and then I think I'm gonna be done around 4 with filming and then edit my video, because it's been really stressing me out to like edit late at night, because that's the time I spend with Tim, and also I just want to relax in the evening. So yeah, but until then I will continue to explain what I am doing. There was a bit of a change of plans in terms of fabric. The last time I talked about this project, I showed you a couple of minty prints that were at Brooklyn General that I decided to use for the red portions of this tree skirt. So this is what the tree skirt is going to look like, and the red parts here are, we didn't have any red at Brooklyn General, so I'm actually going to substitute some greens. So these are the greens I ended up going with. I consulted my friend Jacqueline on the choices, because she's a designer like me and I trust her opinion. So, and I have some green plaids for here, and these greens, the print is subtle enough that it doesn't pull focus from the trees, and also it matched the color of the plaids that I picked for the trees a lot better than anything else. So that's what I'm gonna do. By the way, this pattern is a free pattern. So if you just Google Christmas tree skirt Pam Bono, I'm sure you'll be able to find it. Super easy to download. They gave you a PDF, so I feel pretty comfortable sharing all the information in here. Anyway, so now I'm going to I cut all my strips of the cream. I was thinking of going ahead and just finishing all the cutting for the cream, but I think I should get through the cutting of the strips before I do that, because the strips are the annoying part. So I'm gonna cut the green fabric that I just showed you, the strips of those, and then I'll get to the finer detail cutting with the rotary. Another side note, I decided to just use my scissors for the big strips, because I would have gotten a cleaner cut with the rotary cutter, but there's such long strips that it's just easier with a scissor. So but I'll do the rotary cutting when I cut the strips into smaller pieces. How many times can I say strips in 1 minute? All right, so it's 3:55 and I have cut all the strips that I'm gonna need from these grain fabrics. I really want to keep cutting because it's very fun, but I'm gonna go edit this video and be done for the day because I've got some planning, meal planning and stuff to do, budgeting and that kind of thing. And I do need to go purchase more of that cream. So I think that's gonna take up the rest of the day. But if I am able to get to it, I might do a little more cutting this evening. But anyway, I'll leave you now until Wednesday. I'll be filming again. And I hope you have a good day and that you've enjoyed watching. See you later. Bye.